As President Donald Trump bobbed along with Saudi Arabia's King Salman in a traditional sword dance a year ago, it was unclear what was being signaled. On the campaign trail, candidate Trump had pledged to be an outsider and break with the foreign policy establishment, embarking on a new course in the Middle East, exterminating what he called Islamic extremism, establishing peace between the Israelis and Palestinians, and bringing U.S. troops home. But in hindsight, Trump's extravagant stay in Saudi Arabia was a sign of continuity with U.S. Middle Eastern policy. As long as billions of dollars of U.S. weaponry were bought and the U.S.'s hegemonic aspirations were not threatened, Middle Eastern countries could do as they wish, no matter the consequences for Middle East peace or the stoking of armed groups.
Unconditional support for some of the worst autocrats in the region of the Israeli occupation, and a general disdain for international law and basic principles of human rights. Again, there's nothing terribly new about all of that in terms of U.S. foreign policy, but it is so flagrant.
Iran and ISIL dominate the Trump administration's deliberations. Gone is the Obama administration's tentative recognition that Iran and the U.S. have common strategic interests.
I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
But in withdrawing from that deal, Donald Trump is simply returning to U.S. foreign policy tradition. After all, even Hillary Clinton had once called Barack Obama reckless and naive for even considering negotiating with Tehran. Trump has built on his predecessor's rules of engagement when fighting ISIL, surpassing Obama's civilian casualty count in the process. And despite his America First rhetoric, Trump has acquiesced to the establishment hardliners around him, quietly surging troops to the Middle East, including an apparently open-ended occupation of portions of Syria to counter Iranian influence.
Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. Thank you.
Peace between the Israelis and Palestinians appears also to have been subordinated to the forging of a U.S. Arab-Israeli axis against Iran. But while Democrat and Republican administrations have long been protective of the Israeli occupation, seemingly indifferent to Israel's killing of Palestinians and focused on selling as many arms as possible to the region, these policies are less easy to brush aside now that Trump is in charge.
You're actually seeing some Democrats who are speaking a little more boldly against the kind of policies they had supported when Democrats were in office.
A frank discussion about the U.S.'s role in the Middle East may finally be beginning. Shihab, Rattansi, Al Jazeera, Washington.